seems. It seems like it is already working.
You mean the normal Wi-Fi?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
No, then here's internet box. Okay.
Nicht direkt auf mir. Nee. Muss ich. Das ist okay. Ich bin gut so. Ja. Ich finde das nicht so angenehm. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopinandava Girivardhari Jaya Gopinandava Girivardhari Yasodhanandana Brajananaranjana Yamunatiranachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasani Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Harinam Sankirtan Yagya ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayana Namaskritya Naram Chaivam Narutamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Nastapriyesu Abhadresu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhagavata Bhakti Naistiki. Which verse is it? 22. Vapisu vidrum tata swamanam mritapsu. Sorry. Yeah, we'll do that again. Was my fault. Vapisu vidrum tata swamanam trapsu. Yeah, if you have the English, because this is very small, it's very hard to read for me. Yeah. Okay, one more time. Vapi suvidrum tata swamalam tapsu. Presyan vitani javane tulasi birisam. Abhyarchate swalakam munasamiksha vaktram. Uchesitam bhagavate tiamatam yatshri. Vapisu vidrum tata swamalam ritapsu. Presyan vitani javane tulasi birisam. Abhyarchati swalakamuna samiksha vaktram. Uchesitam bhagavate tyamatam yatshri. Okay, I'll do it one more time. Vapisu vidrum tata swamalam ritapsu. Presyan vitani javane tulasi birisam. Presyan vitani javane tulasi birisam. Abhyarchate swalakam munasam miksha Uchesitam bhagavate chamatam yatshri. Uchesitam bhagavate chamatam yatshri. Vapisu vidrum tata swamalam vitapsu. Any ladies? Vapisu in the ponds, vidruma made of coral, tatasu banks, Amala, transparent. Amrita, nectarian. Apsu, water. Presha Anvita, surrounded by maidservants. Nijavane, in her own garden. Tulasibi, with Tulasi. Isam, the Supreme Lord. Abhyarchati, worship. Su'alakam, with her face decorated with tilak. Unnasam, raised nose. Iksya, by seeing. Vaktram, face. Uchesitam, being kissed. Bhagavata, by the Supreme Lord. Iti, thus. Amata, thought. Anga, O demigods. Yatsri, whose beauty. Translation: the goddesses of fortune worship the Lord in their own gardens by offering tulasi leaves on the coral-paved banks of transcendental reservoirs of water. While offering worship to the Lord, they can see on the water the reflection of their beautiful faces with raised noses, and it appears they've become more beautiful because of the Lord's kissing their faces. Purport: generally, when a woman is kissed by her husband, her face becomes more beautiful. In Vaikuntha also, although the goddesses of fortune is naturally as beautiful as can be imagined, she nevertheless awaits the kissing of the Lord to make her face more beautiful. The beautiful face of the goddess of fortune appears in ponds of transcendental crystal water when she worships the Lord with tulasi leaves in her garden. Om Jnanatimarandasya Gyanandana Salakaya Shakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. The beauty of the faces of the goddesses of fortune is based on pure love. Pure love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And in their marital relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there are loving exchanges. And these loving exchanges increase their beauty. Real beauty then is related to the heart, to the condition of the heart. And it is not only skin deep. Real beauty is different than the cheap cosmetics that we find in this world. Like there is one model named Cindy Crawford, and there was an advertisement, and it said, even Cindy Crawford doesn't look like Cindy Crawford in the morning. Means she has to also put cream and everything to kind of look better. So that is artificial. That is the beauty of the illusory energy. Putana also. Putana, oh yes. Putana was a witch, in case you didn't know. Putana even had fangs, And Putana was fond of blood, especially of children. She had a weak spot for children. Yes. So Putana, however, she disguised herself like a very beautiful lady. In some place we see that like there's a beautiful lady, but then on the back of the head there is a mask of a witch, and then they turn around and like there's the witch is there. So yes, it is like that. Putana was showing the illusory beauty of the illusory energy of Maya. The illusory energy is an imitation of the spiritual world. And therefore the beauty in this world is always an imitation of the beauty of the spiritual world. And therefore it cannot come close. Just as the ladies on this planet in beauty cannot come close to beauty of ladies on the heavenly planets, the ladies on the heavenly planets cannot come close to the beauty of the ladies in Vaikuntha, and the ladies in Vaikuntha cannot come close in beauty to the beauty of the ladies in Goloka Vrindavan. It is all expression of pure love. And in the spiritual world, we are not limited. In the material world, we are always limited because we are punished. Limited in beauty, limited in intelligence, limited in energy, limited because these natural attributes are taken away in the material world. In the spiritual world, we are unlimited and we are unlimitedly able to express ourselves. In the spiritual world, we're not inhibited, but here we are. It's only so much you can do. It's like our Ramananda jumped off the altar to show us that he is fully recovered and that he wants to dance, right? And that's very nice that he wants to dance. But still in the material world, there's always a limit, he's also somewhere over 40, even beyond that, right? So the old age, the other day he's talking to me and he's like, yeah, I begin to feel my age, his age, right, becomes a factor. Time is limiting us. Age, crack, ouch, oh, everything hurts, less energy. Take a step back. Another one? How many steps can you take back? Yes. Of course, Prabhupada defied the laws of nature. Prabhupada defied these laws of material nature. At an age when everyone retires, Prabhupada only started and got into gear. And just like he would just push on. In Mayapur, his sister wanted to cook for him. And she cooked kachoris. And Prabhupada, he liked kachoris, so he ate the kachoris. But then after 15 minutes, 20 minutes, he became ill. And he said, my sister tried to poison me. These kachoris were not cooked properly. Right? And Prabhupada developed dysentery. And he became really ill, and the devotees were like very worried that, when Prabhupada would become really ill, he was old after all, they didn't like it. And then Prabhupada said, call my sister. Call his sister? No, not his sister, yes. Call my sister. And he told his sister that he wanted her to cook. Oh no, this is going to be the end. And he wants puris and deep fried eggplant. Puris, and he's sick like anything, dysentery. He wants puris and deep fried eggplant. It's going to kill him. But there she came, and what did she fry it in? Mustard oil, of course, Oh my God, how could he eat this? And Prabhupada ate these puris, hot puris with hot eggplant. And then he said, whenever I had dysentery as a child, my mother always used to cook puris and eggplant. So nice. And in this way, Prabhupada got better. But not so much better. Because on the plane he was still ill, and actually his secretary, who was sitting next to him, offered his seat so that Prabhupada could lie down, something he never did. So that he could lie down, the secretary went to sit in the back, and Prabhupada was lying on two seats, and then they came to England, and they picked up Prabhupada, and Prabhupada in the car was not well. They had to stop, and he even threw up. So it still didn't look good at all. And it was Ratiyatra. And it was just before Ratiyatra that Prabhupada was so ill. And then Prabhupada came for Ratiyatra. And they expected him to sit on the cart of Subhadra. Prabhupada would sit on the level of the wheels, below the deck, And they expected him to sit there. The seat was there, but Prabhupada didn't want to sit. Instead, he danced. He danced and in front of Lord Jagannath, and he ran forward, turned around, and started again dancing, and would run forward, turn around. This is the famous Ratiyatra in London. And we can see that Prabhupada completely transcended the bodily platform, that he was completely functioning on spiritual energy, and that the energy of the spiritual world was just energizing his material body to go beyond what it could do. And the soul just lifted up that material body beyond any mundane restriction. And so, on transcendental energy, so one can become empowered to go beyond the limitations of the body. And Prabhupada showed. And that we see in devotees. That we see in devotees. Devotees who become empowered. And empowered devotees, yes, they can transcend the modes of material nature. The 6 Goswamis, they hardly slept, they hardly ate. They were just, sometimes they would forget to eat, forget to sleep. Did you ever forget? Not me. It's like, we have so many nice arrangements, nice bed, nice blanket, nice everything, sleeping costume, sleeping hat, everything ready for sleep. Oh yes, sleep is important, you can have an app for sleeping that measures your sleeping. Oh yes, there is all kinds of arrangements to sleep. You can have even like relaxing sounds playing in the room with alpha waves, just so that you sleep better. Yes, because sleep is precious, important. Oh yes. And we see how Prabhupada just at one point had health problems and was having difficulties with ringing in the ears, a high tone in the ears. What is it called? Tinnitus or something? And he had that. And everyone else would immediately run to a doctor and say, I have a real problem here, a constant ringing in the ears. What do I do? But Prabhupada liked it. Because of it, he couldn't sleep. He said, finally, I'm conquering sleep. Right? Finally. Because Prabhupada considered sleep like a waste of time. I mean, a waste of time. That is where the transcendental energy of the soul is in the foreground. And the material energy is simply there in support. And those are the liberated souls. Ihayasya harirdasya karmanamana sagira nikila swapi avastasu jivan mukta uchate. They are the jivan muktas. Although within a material body in consciousness residing in the spiritual world and therefore tapping into the energy of the spiritual world. Srila Prabhupada explained that the energy of the soul by far exceeds the energy of the sun. I mean, just think about that. The energy of the soul is much greater than the energy of the sun. Okay. Really? Yes. So, in this way, we can appreciate the nature of spiritual energy and the nature of everything in the spiritual world. Everything in the spiritual world has its roots in pure devotional service to Krishna. And so all the energy in the spiritual world has its roots in pure devotional service to Krishna. The beauty in the spiritual world has its roots in pure devotional service to Krishna. And everything is motivated by pure devotional service to Krishna. There's nothing else that moves things. Like, for example, in Vaikuntha, there's that example how the ladies in the palaces, they are sweeping the marble floors in the palaces, but there is no dust. Say like, well, why would you sweep if there's no dust? Sometimes there's a car and it hasn't been washed for ages and someone writes something in the dust, just sort of like to get the idea, that it's time to wash the car. And yes, we will never wash the car unless it's dirty. We will never sweep the floor unless there's dust. Sometimes layers of it, sometimes, all these clusters of dust. And then think, well, I guess today we have to really clean the room. What to do? Yeah. When the sheets become smelly, then we sort of think, well, shall I change them? Right? Like that. In the material world, the incentive to clean is that things are getting dirty and smelly. In the spiritual world, it's not like that. The only incentive to clean is love. Love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We want to do this for Krishna. So, like this we are appreciating how love is the foundation of everything. And love is not like just some sort of sentimental wet blanket, Sometimes we are hearing impersonalists speak, right, about the cosmic love and how you have to connect to this cosmic love, that this cosmic loving energy is all pervading. And if you simply connect to it, then you also become like an instrument of that love. That is the impersonal loving energy, like a wet loving blanket, right? Which is all over the place. Love has nothing to do with that. Love is personal. And love means you have to do something to capture me if you want me to love you. I mean, I'll give you some of that wet blanket love. Love, love, love. But real love is based on conquering. based on conquering. In the Chaitanya Chandradaya Natak, there's an interesting description of Lord Chaitanya taking sannyas and leaving home and disappearing, and all the devotees are in separation. And then a messenger comes, and the messenger is Acharya Ratna, who went with the Lord, and who's now, and Nityananda also went with the Lord, and now Acharya Ratna is sent back with a message for Advaita Acharya, and the message is, somehow or other I will bring the Lord to the house of Advaita Acharya. And Advaita, when he hears that message, he jumps up, and it was Nityananda who sent the message, and he says, Nityananda, 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 what a friend, what a friend. He has conquered me. He has done something that is really dear to me. He wants to bring the Lord to my house. Ha! What more could I want? That is it. We have to conquer. We have to do something that is really dear to someone else if we want to conquer them. That is the basis of love. That is the basis of the spiritual world. So the ladies want to conquer Krishna. So yes, they sweep the floor, dust or no dust. The ladies want to attract the attention of the Supreme Lord. Everyone is competing. Everyone is trying to do something extraordinary to conquer Krishna. And Krishna is conquered. Conquered by all, but conquered the most by the devotee who gives the most, who does the most. That is the nature of the spiritual world. Sri Krishna Akarsani. Pure devotional service is Sri Krishna Akarsani. It attracts Krishna. And that is the secret of devotional service. So we engage in devotional service to attract Krishna. Oh yes. If somehow or other we can attract Krishna. And this is what starts to happen. In the beginning, we do devotional service and we sort of feel like devotional service is like a type of soap. And it just washes whiter than white. Oh yes, this devotional service washes the blackest heart, becomes white. And we all think, yes, I'm doing it. I'm the doer here. I'm doing this. I'm doing devotional service and I'm getting purified because of my devotional service. But the real thing is not that. The real thing is to attract Krishna. Somehow or other. And when we attract Krishna, then His mercy is there. And when we attract Krishna, then miracles start to happen. Then we become empowered. And then we get uplifted above the mundane. And suddenly, sex desire is gone. How did that happen? Phew. It was always there. Always. Never was there a moment when sex desire wasn't sitting next to me. Never. Never. I cannot imagine. Sometimes a little in the background, sometimes a little bit in the foreground. It was always there. And now it's gone. How did that happen? Simply by Sri Krishna Akarsani. Simply by attracting Krishna. Because devotional service is no problem. There is only one problem. Sex desire. That's the one thing that interferes with it. If that wasn't there, we would be full-time engaged in devotional service. But because there is sex desire, then we have that inner battle. Oh, how can I just surrender to limit myself? Because I have some material desires. And the material desires is like a train. And in English they speak about the train of thought. You go to the train of thought. And when you come to the last coach, sex desire. It may start with something else, but it always ultimately gets there. If we just go from one thought to the next, then boom, there it is again. Sex desire. Oh, the material world. It is said in the Bhagavatam that the entire material world is a backdrop for sex desire. This is all the arrangements in the material world, a backdrop for sex desire. That's all it is. Yes. So, that is material. But then when we get to devotional service, gradually that devotional services will lift us above. And we start to follow four regulative principles. How is this possible? You? Well, gosh, you really changed, I mean, you following these principles. You're a monk? No, well, it used to be a little different, wasn't it? Yes, it was. But now I'm chanting Hare Krishna. Now I am engaging in devotional service. So now I can follow these principles. Now Krishna is manifesting his mercy. And because of that mercy it is done. Not on my strength. Not that I'm a great yogi. Oh no. That is impossible. No one can follow these principles for very long on his own strength. For a little while. I'm gonna do it. Yes. I'll do it. Yes. Vegetarian, easy. Yes. No gambling, easy. No intoxication, well, a little difficult. No illicit sex. Ooh, how am I going to do it? For a long time. Very difficult. But only when we actually when we attract Krishna, are we becoming empowered by love. Param drista nivartate, are we becoming empowered by higher taste? And to be empowered by love, then anything is possible. Then one can write off the whole material world. Bye-bye. Not interested. I'm not going to waste my time anymore. And whatever Prabhupada wants, orange dress, pink dress, yes, do it. Clay on the nose, no problem. Whatever it is, get up in the middle of the night, yes, no problem. Whatever Prabhupada wants, that's what I want. Because that is the path of love. And all the other things, waste of time. Waste of time. Playing with the material energy. Attached to this, attached to that. Waste of time. That is actually the science of Srimad Bhagavatam. The science of pure transcendental love, which is the only real science. Because without pure transcendental love, there is no happiness. And when there's no happiness, then we are failures. Therefore, parabhavas tavat abhudajato nayigyasta atmatat, from anyone who is not interested in the absolute truth, which describes this pure love, is defeated. Is defeated. And everyone in the whole world is defeated. And they show off to the neighbors. Oh, I'm a big success. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're a loser. You're a loser. Yeah. Just a loser. Not happy. Well, very happy. With what? With my Mercedes. You're not. Your Mercedes is in the garage. And you're worried about the bill. It's going to be expensive. It's a Mercedes. When it's time to take the car to the garage, that's when you don't want a Mercedes. Right? Yeah, so all material things, relative. Yes. Anyhow, we are not yet residents of Vaikuntha, but by meditating on the residents of Vaikuntha, and by hearing about the residents of Vaikuntha, in our heart a desire may be awakened to become a resident of Vaikuntha. Then, one day, we can become a resident of Vaikuntha. It first begins with desire. First we have to develop the desire to become a pure devotee. Then, over time, by purification, it will be possible, and the mercy of Krishna and the Vaishnavas. So in this way, here are these ladies in the goddesses of fortune who become more beautiful because of the Lord's kissing their faces. That's something. That's something. Yes. Pure love. That's something. Any questions? Any comments? Yes. Vaikuntha, Goloka, you know what I mean? That's Bhagavatam is made up of 12 cantos. The first 9 cantos of the Bhagavatam begin to gradually explain to us the tattva, or the truth about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and how the Supreme Personality of Godhead manifests himself in many forms and many energies. So Bhagavatam in the first 9 cantos describes the various expansions of Krishna, the various forms, the various incarnations, the various energies of Krishna. And then it says, Aititam sakala pumsam Krishnastu bhagavan swayam indrari vyakalam lokam hridayanti yuge yuge. Amongst all these, Krishna is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead himself, who is the origin of everything. And that is described in great detail in the 10th canto. So in the 10th canto we discuss Krishna, we discuss Goloka, and in the earlier cantos, when we're dealing with the other expansions of the Lord, we're discussing Vaikuntha. Because there is no difference. There is a difference in ras, a difference in mellows of love. But the Lord in Vaikuntha, the 4-armed Supreme Personality of Godhead Narayan, is equally the Supreme Lord. And his associates are equally eternal associates. And they are also making endless arrangements to please the Lord. It said in Vaikuntha, everyone has the same features as the Lord, the same 4 arms. But then Brihad Bhagavatamrita described, but they have mystic powers. And they use their mystic powers to take other forms. So some of them become sages and, like that. They take all kinds of forms for the pleasure of the Lord. But their original form is the 4-armed form. In Goloka, it is more simple. It is not about mystic power. In Goloka, it is simply about directly serving Krishna with love. And that's what it's about. It's the most mystical power is love. That is Goloka. So no one is interested in showing any mystic power, although they have. Yeah. So there's a difference between Vaikuntha and Goloka in that Vaikuntha shows the Aishwarya, it shows the opulence, not only of the Lord, but also his devotees share in that opulence. In Goloka, it is just pure love that everyone is interested in. So Goloka is superior, undoubtedly, and Bhagavatam makes it clear. But Bhagavatam goes step by step through all the first 9 cantos up to the 10th canto. And Advaitam Achyutam Anadam Anantarupam, the unlimited forms of the Lord. And it shows us the various incarnations of the Lord. Like we're seeing descriptions of the incarnations of the Lord in Bhagavatam. Vamana Dev is described, and you name it. Right? So many incarnations of the Lord are described. Yes. Lord Vishnu appears before Dhruva Maharaj. Like that. So many So many forms are described. Lord Nrsingadev is described. But 10th canto, Krishna. That's why. Anyone else? Yes, Sri Ram, Jai Ram.
If Goloka is higher, as you just said, what stops the soul? You know, it seems like some get stuck in Vaikuntha, and some are. What is it? What is missing to the Vaikuntha Vasis to become Brij Vasis?
The Goloka is higher in the sense of rasa. But even the rasa in Vaikuntha is complete. It's fulfilling because it's transcendental. And transcendental means it's complete and fulfilling. Therefore, the residents of Vaikuntha are fulfilled. And therefore, they have no desire to go to Goloka. So they will not go. They are just completely satisfied with their particular rasas, experiences of rasas in Vaikuntha. And it said in Vaikuntha 2.5 rasas, Santaras, Dasyaras, and Gauravasakya. Or Gauravasakya means friendship mixed with awe and reverence. That's the 2.5 rasas they have. So they don't have all the full experience of the 5 rasas which you have in Golok. But they're satisfied. They're fully satisfied. Yes.
What makes the one soul satisfied with 2.5 rasas, and the other souls are kind of want to have more? What is the nature of a particular soul to be attracted more to Vaikuntha or to Goloka Vrindavan?
Srila Prabhupada points out that our original position is constitutional. That means it's already there. And that Nitya Siddha Krishna Prem Sadhikabunai Sravanadi Sudachita Karya Uday, that we're awakening our spiritual identity, which is already there. And therefore these relationships are there eternally. They don't have a beginning in time. So even now, if we come in touch with the Sankirtan movement, some may go to Goloka, some may go to Vaikuntha, right? Because Vaikuntha, they have that natural inclination towards Vaikuntha. Or some will go to Ayodhya. Murari Gupta, he wanted to have that relationship with Lord Ramachandra. Even Lord Chaitanya couldn't change his mind. Although the rasa with Krishna is more, in one sense, more complete, because Krishna is transcendental to Dharma, whereas Lord Ramachandra always follows Dharma. So there's a certain external aspect to that relationship. But Murari Gupta was attached to that, so that's what he wanted. So some are attached to Vaikuntha. It does say, though, in the branches of the Chaitanya tree, the branches of Advaita Acharya, there's a purport in Chaitanya Charitamrita where it says that generally the associates of Lord Nityananda and Advaita Acharya are either in parental or in friendship relationships. But by the prolonged association of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they can also develop a desire for conjugal ras. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually would awaken a desire in Vaikuntha Vasis or in Ram Bhaktas or for going to Golok and even for coming to Madhurya Ras. So that is a special feature of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement, that it can awaken that desire to change one's original rasa, one's original relationship with Krishna. It is possible. But then there's a discussion with Srila Prabhupada and Hansadutta. And Prabhupada is saying that everyone has his original spiritual identity and that is reawakened. But is it possible, Srila Prabhupada, to change one's ras? And Prabhupada says, everyone has his original ras, his original relationship. Why would you change? Is that original relationship is fully satisfying? No, but can you change? Can you change? And Prabhupada said, but why would you? And then finally at the end, Prabhupada says, yes, you can change. You can. And then Prabhupada says again, but why would you? Right? So in this way, it's still, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu can awaken that desire, but it is maybe not happening always. And so Prabhupada strongly made the point, we have our eternal relationship with Krishna, and it is now covered, and it is again reawakened. So yes, some are happy to be in Vaikuntha. Different devotees, different folks, different strokes, different flavors according to individual natures, different tastes, different desires. Vaikuntha is perfect. It's perfect. But we want to go to Golok. But who knows? As we're getting more purified and our spiritual identity begins to uncover, who knows what will come out? Who knows? Well, maybe, yes. Maybe you'll be with Lord Nrsimha forever. Yes. Who knows? Yes.
Thank you for a beautiful talk, Maharaj. You nicely explained how the non-devotees are pretending and actually being losers. So is that sometimes in the process of devotion, while we're getting purified, those habits and inclinations also reflect the devotional service when we are pretending to be devotees and actually losers, or
Yeah.
some of these statements of take until you make it doesn't make sense to me.
In the conditioned state of devotional service, in the beginning, we are bringing a lot of hand luggage onto the plane. And that hand luggage is so much material conditioning. And so we are sometimes falling prey to Tarangaranjini, to enjoying the side benefits of devotional service. We're getting some respect. We're getting some facilities, right? We're getting, some benefits. We're getting, and we get enamored by the material advantages that we're getting from devotional service. Before we're getting knowledge, before we didn't know how to enjoy, right? We thought it was about, Saturday night and a glass of whiskey. Now we know, hey, now I know how to enjoy. Yes, now I read Prabhupada's books. Now I know what real sense gratification is all about. Oh, these are the side benefits of devotional service. So in the beginning, we may be enamored by these side benefits and secretly take pleasure in material acquisitions coming from devotional service. But then it doesn't quite work so well anyway. So then at one point, forget this, forget it, let it go, let it go. And time helps us, because as time is running out, it gets more serious. Already 50. The story, the Bengali story about the frog that is croaking, and the snake, which has no ears, but hears with its tongue, picks up that sound, and the snake comes from behind, and the snake just bites. But snakes don't chew their food. Snakes, they swallow the frog whole. So the mouth of the snake is going around the frog. And when you're 50, you're already, like let's say 60, 70% swallowed by the snake of time. And the head is still sticking out. And then there's this little fly coming by. And suddenly the tongue of the frog is shooting out to catch the fly. And here we are 50, over 50, still catching flies. Yes, still catching flies. Yes, so time is on our side. With time, we sort of say, well, let go of these things. Let go. Is it worth it? Just let go. Tarangaranjini, enjoying the side benefits of devotional service. Anyone else? Akila Prabhu.
In the third or fourth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam is the description of the ingredients of intelligence. One of them is sleep. And the purport Prabhupada writes that if you don't have enough sleep, the memory, the intelligence doesn't work properly.
Uh-huh.
So how to decide what is enough?
So Akila Prabhu was saying symptoms of intelligence described in third, fourth canto. He says, and one of them is sleep. And it says if there's not enough sleep, then the memory doesn't work. And I have direct experience of this. So I can relate very much to what you're explaining. But of course, we also appreciate that when we become spiritually empowered, then our original memory awakens. Nam pakasa sarvasa yogamaya samavrita. That Krishna is covered by his yogamaya energy, and that becomes lifted, that curtain of yogamaya, and then we become situated in transcendental knowledge, and we see that then, no sleep and yet very sharp intelligence, right? And very awake and just very much. So then it's no longer required. That's only required in a conditioned state, an undeliberated state, as we see in the great acharyas who conquered sleep. But it's not required. It's not required to, in this life, reach that state. Even if we sleep, we can still go back to Godhead. If we are absorbed, if we can attract Krishna by our devotional service. Therefore, I haven't really made it the goal of life to stop sleeping. I have made it the goal of life to do something to attract Krishna. And of course, but if one does a lot, then sleeping gets in the way. Yeah? Then, so there's just so little time, and now we're going to waste it as well with sleeping. But that comes after. First, absorbed in service. Let's do more service. Somehow or other. More service. To capture more service. That's the only solution. Whatever problem we have, the answer is, let's do more service. Of course, when your problem is too much service, what do you do then? Then it's about the quality of service, then not the quantity of service. Quantity, how much can one person do? All right. Thank you so much. Yes, Akila. No problem.
In one purport, Srila Prabhupada writes that in this lifetime we will not be able to go back to the spiritual world.
Oh, what a sad purport. But Srila Prabhupada made it very clear many, many times that we can go back to Godhead this lifetime, right? If we follow 4 regulated principles and 16 rounds, then it is possible to go back to Godhead this lifetime. He said it on many occasions, right? And Prabhupada's emphasis on going back to Godhead this lifetime is very strong, right? And so we should try for it. And but if we cultivate material desires and cultivate sense enjoyment, yes, then maybe another birth on the heavenly planets. And then we can carry on with our devotional service after that. But, therefore after 50, no more sex life. Yeah. Because that's the main attachment. Right? That's the real thing that binds us. So, at least that we give up. And, now I'm optimistic about about the chance that we can go back to Godhead. Quite optimistic. Let's just try and do it, and be a real follower of Prabhupada. That's enough. That's enough. Okay. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Hare Krishna. Akila Prabhu ki jai. And Gaura Bhaktavinda ki jai.